and charred this to create the charred look. And now what we're going to do to create a look that's even cooler is we're lightly sanding it with a 60 grit orbital. You're not going to be able to really see it here, but this little section I painted with linseed oil, and it's not going to even really look good yet. After it dries, it'll create a nice sheen, so you have this patinaed, I don't know if patina is the right word, but rustic look. And I'm just going to do a little section over here to just show you the sanding level. So this is not sanded, and then this is sanded, so it's a pretty light sand. And then I'm just leaving a little bit of the charring on there, and just so the grain pops out in between the chars. So this is just boiled linseed oil on charred redwood, which was sanded with a 60 grit orbital sander, just lightly until we got the look that we liked. And I'm just evenly distributing the linseed oil throughout, and it'll soak in and give us that nice patinaed look and add a lot of longevity to this board. This board would probably last 100 years anyways because it's up in the air with no ground contact, but now it's probably going to last for sure 100 years, maybe more, as long as we do our details right. So these are the posts for our new entryway, and the only thing I really want to draw your attention to is the 2x4 that goes across between them, and that's screwed on, and that ensures that they're on the right plane with each other when we stick the final header across the top. And these are nice and plumb. It's going to be beautiful. Pause. So at this stage in the game, I guess the important things to show you are, the first thing I did was I grabbed a laser level. Well, first I measured from the top down the width that I wanted the post to set on the bottom, and then I set these two, and then I made with a speed square, I just transferred the lines around the board, and then I put on the 2x4 scabs, and those are really critical so that when you stick up the big board, it sets on top. And then once I put the 2x4 scabs on this side, then I put a laser level on top of them and shot the level over there, and then made the same marks for that side. So now we have a perfectly plumb and level archway, or not archway, but entry gate. And then to secure it, when we put it up, we just pre-set 2 screws and just holding it with 2 4-inch screws right now. And then after we get both sides up, we'll run the bolts through it. So when we started to put up this second cross member, it was a lot heavier than the other one, filled with more water, and so it didn't feel safe. So now what we're doing is we're just creating a little bit of a safety so that if anything does happen, it's gonna land on this ratchet rather than fall down on our head. So, and then if you pan over to the other side, you'll see that we put in another 2x4 going to the tree there, and you know, some people worry about screwing into redwoods, but they're really good at healing those little holes, so that's not going to harm that redwood. But we did that because we don't have another tall freestanding ladder, and we're going to have to lean up the 16-foot telescoping ladder up against the post. And in order to not damage the curing concrete, we needed to secure the post in the lateral direction so that it didn't get damaged when we put a bunch of weight and pressure on it installing the next beam. And here we go, next beam installed. Since this was too hard to carry up ourselves, we're using 2 ratchet straps, whoops, and then just pulling it up one by one. When one's tight, we pull up the other one. the one point I wanted to make in terms of safety, because this is all pretty intense work. So Pat here, when he's stabilizing this right now, and this is not secured over here. But what he's doing is this board right here is nice and secure and stable, so he's keeping one hand fully locked on the secure point at all times. So then when he holds this, he's got something secure to hold on to. So whenever you're working up high with anything, you always want to have one hand locked onto something that's fully secured. So now we got this just locked in place, it's not going anywhere. And then we're going to go lift that one up, and then we'll screw it off and we'll be ready to go. So earlier we were trying to lift this with just the two ladders. And I just wanted to say one thing about the trigger point that made me want to stop. I don't really know how to teach it to anyone, but over the years, I think it's really important that I think we all have sort of a little internal voice, which we know what's safe and what's not safe. And it's just hard to, when you realize it's going to take a lot longer and you got to do a lot more steps and put a lot more safety things in place, to actually stop. And then to go like, okay, this actually feels dangerous, and then to just back off, rethink the whole thing and start over. And once we came up with the ratcheting strap idea, then it felt safe to all of us. So just, if it feels unsafe, it probably is. Stop, rethink it, make it safe, and start over. 2, 3, shimmy. I gotta release a little bit. Okay. Are you tight over there? You can release a little bit, or are you okay?
I'm gonna release a tiny bit.
Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, shimmy.
Pretty good.
You're good?
Are you lined up?
Are you right on then?
I can't quite lean over straight up to get a straight view, but
So I'm about a ½ inch off. That's where we were on the other side. Feel straight to you on the boards in the back? Yeah, that looks perfect to me.
okay.
I'm gonna lift up, get this tree out of here. There we go. Most people, when they try to drill holes, a long hole like this, through something like this, they try to eyeball it, and it doesn't ever really work, especially if you're struggling to get right in front of it to see it. Even then, you can't really see it. So using a square and a level is really the way to go. So this is a nice little handy one with the magnets on it. Really helpful in this situation. So I'm going to put it right on my point right here, and then I'm going to put it to level. And I'm going to take this guy over here, and I'm going to get him square. So I'm going to do level and square. And then I'm just going to do a little bit and try to get it. And then I'm going to check it again. So I got a little bit down, so I got to go up a little bit. And I moved a little bit towards, let's see, there's some wood in the way there. Maybe that's that wood. I gotta go on the other side. Yeah, so I gotta go a little bit that way and a little bit down. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Let's slow this out. It's on speed 2. It needs to be on speed 1. Okay. Let's go see how we did. So you can see it's about 3 inches up, which is right where I wanted it to be, and it's fairly centered on the post, which was my goal. It's actually just a hair off to the left there, but had we not used that whole technique, it would have been a lot worse. So I'm just gonna set these things with a regular old impact driver with an adapter, a little speed chuck adapter. You should get one of those for your kid if you don't have one. They're just super useful. And then it's just a I think a regular small size, adapted up to these big ones, it works fine. A bigger one would be great if I had a more powerful driver, but I don't have it with me, so we're just gonna use the little one and max it out. So that's about max. And then if you try to take this off right now, it's not gonna come off. So a quick little trick is just hit reverse, grab it, knock it a couple of times with a hammer, and then it'll pop right out. So this is kind of a pain. If I had a bigger driver, then we would just use a bigger driver to go all the way in, but you get the idea. We'll just finish it off like this, and that's it. And then we'll be done. Thanks for watching our video about creating an entryway using the Japanese Shugi technique, and I hope you got value out of that. Please subscribe and hit the notification button. Have a great day.